Hello, welcome back to pattern making with Let Morris. We'll be carrying on with the skirt. This is a skirt that we've done. We've done the front and we're going to carry on with the back. I just want to say thank you all for watching. Don't forget to share, to comment and to subscribe as you watch. And anything you don't understand and you'd like us to go over it again, don't be afraid to comment or send a message, and we'll try and help you the best we can, because this is what I'm setting out to do, to help someone to create from blocks and to develop any style, any shape that you want to, and you're able to. So here we go. This is the design that we're doing. We're going to be doing the back section now. It's got a zip in the back and a yoke, and it's pointed at the bottom. So we've already done the draft, and this is the back section. We copied off or traced off the back block. We've decided on the length, and we've gone up where we want it to go up at the side, and this is the yoke line that we've created on here. So I'm going to be closing the dart out. As you can see, the line, the yoke line, is gone right through on this draft, so we don't need the dart in there, so we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to get rid of this lower dart when we come to do the skirt. So I've marked the line on for my yoke, and the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to separate this yoke from the skirt like that, and I'm going to take off this line at the bottom here. So I'm ready to go. And firstly, let's do the yoke. As I said before when I did the front, sometimes you find with your block you've got a bigger dart at the back than you have at the front. If it's the same, some blocks you can create with the same width of the dart at the back and the front, and if that so be the case, you can use exactly the same front if your front and the back dart is the same, and all you do is just add a seam allowance on the center back for your zip. So in this case, this block, the dart at the back is bigger. So there's a reason for that, is that at the back we've got a bum, so we need a more fullness with the dart at the back so than we have at the front. So I always draft my blocks with the dart at the back bigger. So what I've done is I've cut up on the line where the dart goes. You can do it at the front or at the back. I've cut mine on the front, on the front section of the yoke. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to close that dart out like that. So I put that line to that line like that, and I'm going to mark a straight line for my center back on my sheet of paper, and I'm going to bring that up to the edge of the line like that, closing that dart out like that. Make sure you put the lines to the lines so you know it's closed out exactly on the line. And as you close out, your shape is doing a different angle, so that's because you've transferred the dart out and it's now into that yoke line. So once you've done that, all you do is just mark around the waist of your yoke along the side, and then you're going to go along the outer edge here, and you're going to come right up to the center back, and then you can move those bits out. So that's the shape that you're getting, and all you do is now smooth up those lines because they're slightly curved. You can use your curved to get them curved, or you can just do it yourself if you've got a good balanced hand to do some nice curve. So once you've got that, you just add a centimeter on your center back here. For your zip section, you add a centimeter around the waist here, and along the side centimeter, and you allow a centimeter at the bottom of your yoke like that, and you use that line as your grey line for the back, And then this is your back yoke, and you're going to cut 4 of those plus 2 fuse. So that is your back yoke for your skirt, and the pattern is now ready. And you just cut out the shape when you've got your seam allowance on down the center back here and along the bottom of the yoke. So you've now created your yoke for your skirt. So there we go. So all we got to do now is we can put a notch there, we can put one here, we can put one there, one at the top there for your center back, and just trim that line up so that it's nice and smooth along there. So that is your yoke pattern piece for the back. Now once you've done that, you get hold of the lower part that you've just cut off the yoke, and I've labeled it 1, 2 and 3. I've made a straight line from the end of the dart all the way down to the bottom, and I've made another line separating this piece into 3 sections. And I'm going to close out that dart because I don't want that dart in there, and I'm going to throw that dart into the seam so that I can get a full skirt. So like the front, I'm going to open out to a half a circle. I'm not doing a full circle. You don't have to do a full circle. You can do a quarter circle, half circle, depending on you, how wide you want it. So now I've cut up on those lines, 1 line and 2 lines, and I'm going to cut down on one of these lines of the dart like that. It doesn't matter, you can cut on that one or you can cut on the back one, on that one, whichever you cut on, it doesn't matter. Once again, I'm going to draw a straight line on my paper like that, and extend that down a little bit, and I'm going to place my center back on that line like that, and I'm going to close this this dart, the section of this dart that I have out. So I'm going to close it out like that, put that line to that line, and as I close it, you can see where it's opening in there. So I'm starting to get my flare. So then I'm going to swing that right round as much as I can by opening that out as far round as I can, because I'm going to go for a quarter. And I just put my stick, my ruler, up along that straight line and square the line out so it touches the point of my side here, there, and it's squared out like that. I just move that up so to the line so you can see it and see what we're doing. The dart's closed out, it's opened out, and I've got my ruler and it's touching the end of my skirt at the side there, and that's squared, and I know that's squared. I'm just going to draw a line all the way through there so that I know. And once I've opened out, so I'm getting my flare in there, and there. So I'm getting a good full circle to that line. All right, if I didn't want it to be a half a circle, I'll just open it as much as I can to where, as far as it wants to go. It looks like it just wants to go to there. If you can see it, it's opening to there. You can just take it to there if you want, but because I want a half a circle, I've squared my line out with my ruler touching there, and wherever it sits here, that's where I'm taking it to, so that the end of my side seam is touching the line that I've squared out at the top here. So whatever this measurement is, I want it to be from that point, the end of my side seam there, it's got to be the same. So I just put a mark, right? There's a rough mark, and then I just mark the rest of my lines, little bit and a little bit down to that point. So once I've done that, that's a guideline for how much I want to swing it open. So once I've done that, and I've marked in the top section of my yoke seam, as you can see, they're not smooth lines, so I need to get smooth, lovely lines around there. So I've just marked a little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit there. Now I can take it away because the lines are broken. And now all I'm going to do now is just first of all add my centimeter along the center back. For this is where my zip is going to be, down the center back. And then all I'm going to do is just get a nice smooth line around there where my yoke, this is my yoke line, yoke seam. And then I'm going to measure from there to there. It's got to be the same distance as my front. So I'm going to put my seam allowance on here because this is my side. I want a centimeter on here. And before I check the side that they match on the front, I am going to smooth my line around and I'm going to follow the shape all the way around back to there. As you can see, that one's there because as we come to that point there, it begins to be on the bias. So I need to shorten that section in there halfway. It's halfway from that side to the center back. So I'm just going to get a nice run all the way around, all the way. I've marked it as a guide all the way back around to that point. So as you can see, that's where that point was, and I've come up because I know at that section it's going to drop. So I can take that line out and just get a nice smooth line running around back into the center back. Not to a point, but slightly so it's curved a little bit along there. So once I've got that, all I do now is to check that my yoke matches and fits into this seam. So that's my yoke, and I'm going to check it before I put my seam on to make sure that that fits back into that, like that, round to there, and it does. Then now I know I can put my seam on. So after I make sure you can curve that around with your French curve, get a nice curve, and then you add your seam allowance on there, a centimeter, because that yoke has to fit back into that. And once that fits into that, this skirt will just drape and gives you a lovely fluting like the picture, the drawing. So once we've got that, we then check with the front that we've made to make sure it's the same at the side by checking the side seam after we have added our seam allowance, and then we mark it, and then we can put our centimeter or a quarter of an inch, because that's all you need round there, because all you're going to do is just overlock it. The narrower the seam, the easier it is for doing your edge stitch. So you just put your seam allowance around there, and this will be along here, your center back, and that is your, you put a notch for your zip. So from the top, it's normally is 8 inches, and you measure down, and then you put your notches, 2 little notch for your back. So this is your grain, your center back. You can use that grain to lay onto your fabric, or you can use square a line out here, and you can use that grain as well. It just depends on how much fabric you have and how it fits in your on your fabric. So this is now your back skirt, and you're going to cut two of those. So that is your back skirt. So it looks like that, and then you just cut out your shape, and that is your half a circle skirt. It's not totally a full skirt, full circle. And you can even make it less as well. You don't have to make it a half. You can make it a quarter circle, a 3/4 circle. But I find it an easy way to do your full skirts, your full circle or half circle skirts like this from your pattern. So at least you've got your pattern, and you can always cut it in different fabrics. At all times you can always go back to your pattern. Once you've got them fouled, you foul them and you've got them in a safe place. You know, you don't have to keep going back to measure and measure. You can use them over and over again as pattern. You've got them. Once you've got them, you've got them. You can double check to make sure that the side seam matches. They fit like that along the side. And that's your skirts. That's the front skirt. You're going to cut one of those. You're going to cut one of those. You're going to cut one yoke. You're going to cut two of these. One there like that and one like that. That's your how you cut them. And this is your back yoke. You're going to cut two of those. So those are the pattern pieces that you need for this pointed skirts, front and back yoke with a back zip in it. So, well, you know, you just decide on what fabric you're going to use. And if you're going to use, you want to line it, you don't cut your lining as wide as this. You just go back to your block and you just use the block shape. You just copy that off where your yoke is here, and you use that for your lining down to there. Just make it about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch shorter. So that's how you create your full skirt, pointed like that. Looks like that when you finish. And it's not hard, it's quite easy. And you've got your 4 pieces of pattern piece, and you're ready for cutting out on your fabric. So I hope you have followed that through, and you're going to attempt to do this. Not hard, easy once you've got a block. And once again, if you're not sure on your blocks, I have put them up on my YouTube, how to create your skirt block. But if you're not clear on that, you can message me and I can go through that again with you, how to make your skirt block. But I just want to shout out to a lady that is my 100th member in the group, that I've posted a lot of my my videos, and I'm waiting to hear from her, because I said to her, she sends me her measurements, I'll be able to give her a gift of how to develop her skirt block to her measurement and send it to her. I'm still waiting to hear from her. If not, it will go on to the 101 member that sign up. So don't forget to share, subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.